it's Friday, kids. And you know what that means, don't you? It means half the world is getting frickin' weird tonight. And we're no exception here in the Vaan Bitwig studios. In fact, we might be getting the weirdest. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's some pretty amazing weirdos out there. But yeah, we'll try our best anyway. So before you go to do whatever it is you're gonna do, have a seat, have a snack, get yourself ready, and check this out. Okay, so again, I have this sample. Let's have a listen. Right, the weirdest thing ever, isn't it? It's like, I don't even know. And then I have what sounds like probably the happiest Indian man ever, right? Like his wife just fed him a bunch of food because their food is so good, and she's probably an amazing cook, right? And then he's like, oh, the kids are gone, there's nothing to do tomorrow, and I'm full. I'm full of Indian stuff. All right, let's listen. Know what I mean? He's like, I'm so happy my wife can cook, or whatever. And that's pretty cool. So what I thought, oh man. So I thought I would use this weird sample to modulate the happy Indian man. Right? Just the way that you get those synthesizers now where you can load up all these crazy wavetables, like you can use a sample loop as your wavetable. I thought I would try to do that with Bitwig devices, and so this is what I came up with, okay? So first, I put a chain on. Not like those cool chains from the 90s that like Limp Bizkit would have worn. Just like a normal chain, an effects chain. And I got my EQ here, and I've basically made a dynamic EQ, which is easy to do. I'll make a whole video on that. But essentially, I used an audio sidechain on the chain, and of course, it's getting its signal from that sample, that weird, what was it called? Wonky. Well, that's appropriate. We got it from Wonky, right? And if I click mod, you can see that I just went and moved an ass load of these around, right? And so basically every time it gets a signal from here, it's going to move a bunch of these up and down and left and right, which is essentially how you would create a dynamic EQ, which I'll show you in another video because that's a valuable skill to have. And let's see, did I mod anything else? Because at this point, I don't even remember, man. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. So I also use this audio sidechain to mod, again, the amount inside a classic LFO. And you've seen me do this before, right? And so that's basically that. But now this LFO is modulating, let's see, the LFO rate on a ladder filter. Oh, the frequency, like the master frequency of a resonator bank. And I think that might even be it. Yeah. So what this is right here, the second chain, is actually just a preset called Deep Freeze, and it comes with Bitwig, and you should check it out because if you've ever used Valhalla Shimmer, it's very similar to that, and it's actually super cool, and you can actually do a lot more with this than you can with Valhalla Shimmer, okay? All right, so essentially that's all I did to it. Let's solo this, and let's hear what it sounds like. Look at the peak limiter. Like, it is slammed. Look at that. So that's pretty cool. It actually sounds like some pretty interesting ambient stuff. So that alone, that sample alone is pretty interesting, isn't it? Oh, you know what? Yes, right. I forgot to mention this instrument 3. This is just playing any note on what is that? Quarter notes. I don't think there's even an instrument. No, it's just MIDI data playing notes on quarter notes, and the reason is because I'm using that as the key input to this ladder filter here, right? See, instrument 3, and that's basically that. Okay, and what that's doing is triggering the ADSR to hit. Basically, I'll make a video on the ladder filter. I gotta remember this stuff. I gotta remember to make a video on the ladder filter, make a video on the dynamic EQ, because that stuff is pretty damn important. Okay, and so that's the sound I got. So then I just basically took this and I bounced it out. So here we have it, right? And if I solo this, it's the same thing, right? Except when I stop it, it actually stops instead of reverbs and delays on forever. Okay, so now I have this sample, okay, and I put a sampler on this track, and I called it Alex Vaan Indian Man, right? I should have called it Happy, Well-Fed, probably Pudgy, and again, Happy Indian Man. But, well, we'll go with just Indian Man. And so I've taken this sample and thrown it in here. And at first, I didn't quite know what I was going to do with it. I thought, well, maybe if I could use that as just like an ambient effect, that'd be pretty cool. And I could tune it to, you know, assign it to keys using the sampler and the key tracker here. But then I put it in here and I was kind of dicking around with it. I put on the key tracker and I put on loop, and this is what came out of it. Which is pretty neat, right? Like, I've basically made my own version of the wavetable synthesizers. So now, like, I could see that manipulating that a little more into some pretty gross bass, right? Yeah, so that's basically it. Nothing too crazy. Well, I guess it's not that it's not crazy. It is pretty bizarre. But, you know, that's basically it, folks. I don't want to take up your Friday night. You got things to go and do. And if you don't, well, I mean, hang out, watch more videos, do some weird shit inside of Bitwig. That always works for me, right? And so, basically, the thing to take away from this is, did you ever think to use an audio sidechain to modulate an EQ5? If you didn't, you should, because that's basically how you make a dynamic EQ, which we'll talk about in another video. Secondly, did you ever think to use an LFO to mod an LFO to modulate, let me see, what was it again? The rate on a ladder filter. And did you ever even think to use a ladder filter? This thing is so dope, okay? You got to check this out. It's modeled after the Moog or Moog synthesizer, and it's worth just playing around with a little bit, okay? Especially this key input thing here, using the instrument as your ADSR kind of assignment. That's pretty cool. I'll make a whole video on that alone, okay? And also, check out the preset called Deep Freeze, all right? Do away with Valhalla Shimmer. Be different, okay? Everyone uses Valhalla Shimmer. And I'm not saying it's not good. It is good, but every frickin' one uses it. Okay? We have other tools, and it's worth exploring them, for sure. Okay? And secondly, did you ever think to use this sample to make a ridiculous synthesizer? What's cool about it is you can throw any sample inside here, and I'm just figuring this out like an idiot, but you can put the loop function. If you turn this guy on, you can put them so close together that they make what sounds like a single tone, right? Oh, I just screwed it up. And that's about it, folks. So throw different samples in here and dick around with it, make your own synths, and see what you come up with. Okay? All right, guys, enjoy your weekend. I'll see you in the next video.